Oh, good grief. Hyundai XL.
Why?
The early model. Because it was a dog of a car, and it became really popular for no particular reason, and people started liking it when they just really shouldn't have. I think this is very fitting. Here we have a Hyundai Getz parked in a disabled car park. I've always wondered why they call them disabled car parks, but now I see why. It's because they're for disabled cars. I would bring enthusiasm, passion, humour, and more often than not, a perspective that you may not have thought of before. These would look like very large, old-style radio tuning knobs. You could get that and just come over to the site. You can see it's even got the ridges on there so that, you know, your thumbs don't rub when you turn the knob like that to change the station. I think that would be very special to be able to do that. And I don't mind saying that. They used to be like this. See that? It's kind of like what's behind there, I can't really tell, but now they're not hiding anything. They just want to say, look, I'm clear, you can see me. I've got nothing to hide anymore. I love working in a team. I love people. Are you busy? You know, it's what Australia
Oh, we've got some
today.
fish and we've got to get the fish home for us.
Oh, you got fish? Oh, I didn't know you had fish. I'm a creative, a graphic and a web designer, but I'm also a complete computer geek. So I'm a strange blend of the creative and the technical. Really, it's a bit of a strange thing. But I also tend to do things like, you know, laying my own pavers and setting my own sleepers in the landscaping. So there's a fair share of blue-collar grunt in there as well. I can touch here, 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 here. Any of these, I can lift that. No, I can lift that up. See, that's yellow. I mean, yellow is okay. Yeah. Over there, look, there's some more I can touch. Over there and there. Definitely do not touch there. If you touch there, you will be in trouble. And also there, that's bad to touch. I reckon I could touch that and it wouldn't hurt me.
Yeah.
Would you? No, I'm scared. I can't do it. Yeah, can you just come over here and touch? Just show me. Just stick your hand on the red thing. Oh, it's obviously fine. See, that's fine. I'm also very proud of the amount of words that I know. I think that they should invent a word for the amount of words that someone knows, because I think I'd be very good at that. Say Land Cruiser smaller. I think Prado must mean a little bit smaller. I think that's what it means. I'd like to see Matthew Hayden actually drive a Territory, and the people that advertise these cars, I'd like to see them actually drive them and give their honest opinions of them rather than the opinions that they've been paid to give. And I think that would be a curious exercise. As a boy, you draw them, you play with them, you race them, you smash them, you pretend to own them, and I don't think you ever really grow out of that as an adult. I think when I was 6, my mum wrote in her scrapbook, John's greatest love is cars. Since then I've, you know, serviced them and fixed them and crawled in, through, around, over, under them, pulled them apart and put them back together, and it's quite the love affair, really. Sometimes if you're washing or polishing your car just as the sun's setting, you kind of look down the side of it and it'll sort of reflect a little bit, and you think, wow, that's beautiful. It's just an object of beauty that you can appreciate. And sometimes when you're in traffic and a car will drive past you, you see a car in motion, you see it all working together, and I just have a real appreciation of seeing something do what it was designed to do and do it really well. They brought out this kind of a double kidney design, and I remember when we first saw that, everyone was like, wow, it looks like a BMW, and it's curious that this is right next to the same trademark double kidney that we see in the BMW, and you just wonder You wonder if the folks at Mitsubishi were trying to copy the BMW manufacturers in doing that. And I think they probably were. I think BMW is, you know, it's probably a more aristocratic car brand than Mitsubishi will maybe ever be. Basically, people who think they can beat a Tarago off the lights, they should realise their place, and that it's a Tarago. You don't mess with it in a traffic light battle. You show some respect, you know.
In 1990, Toyota made history when they released the TCR-10 Tarago. Prior to this, a people mover meant that you were driving basically a commercial vehicle with a couple of seats bolted in the back and some carpet slapped on the floor. But Tarago said, no longer. Over its lifespan, this model Tarago picked up numerous awards for innovation and other things. In fact, Toyota was so convinced that that was a case of, if you're onto a good thing, stick to it, that they didn't release another model until 10 years later. Mounting the engine lower and towards the rear of the car brought great benefits in handling and weight distribution, without compromising on things like road noise and its car-like driving position. The previous people movers used to feel like you were steering your car with a dinner plate. Another revolution on the Tarago was SADS, the Supplementary Accessory Drive System. That put all the engine-driven accessories forward of the engine accessible through this small panel here. So now you could check your fluids, you could check your battery, and all the other things that you needed to do frequently without having to pull out the floor panels or put your car on a hoist. The 2.4 litre 4 performs quite well in the rev ranges that it needs to, like low revs for traffic and in fifth gear on the highway on those long camping trips. The manual gearbox will get a bit of a workaround around town, but it'll sit comfortably in fifth on the highway. Sitting in the driver's seat doesn't really give you much to write home about in terms of bells and whistles or electronic wizardry, but we all know that a Toyota's like having a multivitamin tablet over having a plate of food. It'll give you all the right nutrients in all the right doses, but there's just nothing particularly inspiring about eating it. Having said that, there still are some creature comforts like central locking, a tachometer, a rear window washer, and of course air conditioning. Some models featured actual dual air conditioning units, whereas the base model just gets this ceiling-mounted fan unit which sweeps the cold air from the front back to the "Mum, I'm hot" passengers in the back. In Australia at least, air conditioning is pretty essential, particularly when you consider the large glass area of the car and the fact that you can't really open any of the windows. Everyone apart from the driver and the front passenger has to enter and exit through this single door. It's a shortcoming that was addressed on the next generation Tarago, along with the wind-down windows. It's also a reason that you should never import a US version of this model, because it's got the door on the other side, and when you drop the kids off at school, they run out into the oncoming traffic. The luggage space is excellent, particularly when you take the back row of seats and fold them up to the side. In fact, the Tarago became the car of choice for high-flying executives, because once you take these seats and fold them out, you can hold a pretty decent office meeting inside there. It's quite a big car, it's got quite a small engine, so it's going to be pretty thirsty. But all in all, it's a Toyota, and so while it might be uninspiring in some parts, it does what it's designed to do, and it does it very, very well. I'm always cautious, that's the word I'm looking for, about standing too close to these sorts of cars, because I've heard that some of them have like those aura alarms. If you stand too much in its aura, the alarm goes off, and I don't ever want to do that, so yeah. Thanks for watching.